Yes.
Shall we start?
Yes.
Yes.
Good morning, all of you. I think we all are enjoying at home, safely staying at home, and this lockdown period has given a lot of lessons to us, and that's why when Neeraj took the initiative of conducting a webinar, so I thought, why not? Every one of us should join hands and come up with a common platform where all of us have the same wavelength and have the same perception for this COVID-19, and all of us are fighting, with this in a fantastic manner. And first of all, I think hats off to our all political parties, all bureaucrats, and more importantly, the respected citizen of this country. They have handled it very well. I think for this we need applause for all the citizens. So everyone has handled it very beautifully, and we should give applause to the pride citizen of this country. So friends, today when Neeraj approached us that there should be a message from SOCHM, that what we are going to do. The first thing I told him that it is kind of a, it's a blessing in disguise. I think this COVID-19 has given a lesson to all of us, especially to save our Mother Earth. I thought, let us have this topic, and amongst me, I've got very eminent panelists, all stalwarts in the industry. And to start with, I would like to introduce each panelist one by one. First of all, I'd like to introduce our chairman, dynamic chairman, Mr. Pankaj Dharkar, who is with us. Mr. Dharkar is the founder president of a renowned MEP company everyone knows, though he do not need any introduction. And during his rich experience of 40 years, he has successfully designed and coordinated more than 4,000 projects of various applications such as healthcare, pharma, education, hotels, and many more. He is associated as the consultant with very big groups like Hyatt, Four Seasons, Hilton, and a lot of other five-star hotels. PDA, his firm, is currently associated with 12 million square feet of green building footprint in India. And he's right now the president voting member of ASHRAE, and he's the founder member of Indian chapter of CTBUH, that is Council on Tall Building and Urban Habitat. And Mr. Pankaj Dharkar, as everyone is aware, that he's the international president of FSAI, that is Fire and Security Association of India, and he is our proud national chairman of GEM. So this is all about Mr. Pankaj Dharkar, and a very renowned MEP consultant in the country. Now, with me, another speaker is Mr. Charanjit Shah, architect Charanjit Shah. Again, a very stalwart name in the industry, and he has been my teachers when I was in college. He was there in a lot of juries also. He did his Bachelor of Architecture in the year 1970 from School of Planning and Architecture. He was a fellow member of Indian Institute of Architects, and he's a fellow member of Institute of Values.
What's happening?
Hello. 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 No.
Hello? Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Hello, yes, sir.
There is some problem with the connection of Tusharji, it seems. The audio
Yeah.
quality has been pretty bad and he was not with.
He's showing offline right now.
Can till Tusharji comes up, can I start? Because I don't want to keep this blank.
Yeah, that's better.
Yes, yes, you can start, sir. Harinder, please share a screen with the Pankaj-ji.
The audio quality needs to improve.
You can share your screen, sir.
So thanks for that introduction, Tusharji. I think technical hiccups is something which we all are learning very fast. Friends, the world is facing a critical health crisis today. People are suffering, cities are under lockdown, transportation has come to halt, production has stopped, office and schools are shut down, everyone is trying to work from home, economy is slowing down, but friends, all is not doom and gloom. There are some interesting positive impacts also. Air pollution all over has reduced, greenhouse gas emission has dropped, there is less energy consumption, there is less wastage, lifestyle has overall changed. The COVID-19 viral outbreak is likely to bring about some permanent changes in the lifestyle, help in preparing for future. Building play important role in such epidemics since people have to stay indoor most of the time. This is probably first time in my 60 years that I've been staying home. Most of you who know me, I travel more than 15 days in a month since 1981, and this has been a wonderful time with my family, and you must take this in right spirit. Friends, the way architects who are most of my panelists used to design indoor spaces, I think they have to rethink, because today we are learning so many aspects of it while staying at home. Prevention and controls are likely to be the key elements when facing such major public health crisis. All of us know that green building revolves around 5 key concepts: energy efficiency, resource efficiency, water conservation, indoor environment quality, site and community impact. Now, concepts in building technology have to be implemented after COVID-19 outbreak, so are more safe, comfortable, healthy, livable, and manageable. You all know that if ASSOCHAM GEM certification is one which encompasses fire and life safety as one key element. But we have all to learn lesson in future that our building have not only to be fire safe, secure, but also infection safe. this is a new element which is going to get added. The green building concepts are already taking the required prevention and control, but the measures will have to be more enhanced and stringent now. Ventilation is crucial to dilute contaminants, bringing in outside air, which is free from opening windows wherever possible, and regular monitoring of indoor air quality will become absolutely necessary. Building to have enhanced measure for control the collusion of air pollutants, controlling the exhaust backflow of kitchens, bathroom, setting up effective water seals to reduce the risk of virus transmission through drainage pipe and stools, controlling the concentration of indoor particulate matter are going to be the key elements. Increased humidity measures in building are going to be extremely important. We all know that the growth of bacteria could be controlled with right control of humidity, which is recommended to be between 40 to 60% to prevent the growth of microbes in building. Friends, ASHRAE has taken steps to provide guidance on how to ensure that buildings are prepared for future epidemics. American Society of Heating Refrigerating Engineers, that is ASHRAE Epidemic Task Force, has been established to address the challenges related to effect of HVAC on disease transmission in building. I'm very glad that ISHRE, Indian Society of Heating Refrigerating Engineers guidelines, have put together a special COVID-19 task force, which with the help of a technical committee, very eminent technical personalities, has already come up with COVID-19 document. Friends, I urge all of you to go through this wonderful effort, which is made by ISHRE. Probably this is the first major document globally. Similar documents have been also formed by societies like Indian Plumbing Association, IPA, and also FSAI. In addition to describing the virus transmission, the ISHRE also takes care of, ISHRE document also takes care of environmental condition, particularly relative humidity and temperature in residential, commercial, and industrial applications. An adequate cleaning procedure using only sustainable and green products for all buildings, including elevators, backout areas, restroom, etc., will be of prime importance as we move forward. Frequent and proper hand washing will be an important task, and preventing the spread of disease through properly designed signages to be posted in restroom and facilities will also gain importance. Work from home concept, creating flexible working hours, social distancing, innovative solutions for touch-free operations of door, windows, drawers, and other equipment will be a key element where a lot of work needs to be done. The requirement in building must include thermal scanning, vehicle management, relevant signage to alert people, flexibility in changing room functions, critical medical room facilities in offices, residential room, isolation and observation rooms. Supply chain management will be the key aspects as we move forward on our architectural designs. All the green certification was giving due importance to indoor quality and the enhancement of experience due to green environment. The green plant will give several benefits. We all are aware, but I think a lot of emphasis requires to be given on indoor plantation, which can help reduce stress, increase productivity, reduce skin and other diseases, make workplaces more attractive, purity of air, noise levels, and boost creativity. But I think this requires a lot of emphasis as we move forward with the current situation. Friends, building in future will have more stringent in maintaining water quality, air quality, fitness facilities, use of antibacterial building material in order to reduce risk of people getting infected and enhance their immunity. COVID-19 outbreak highlights the importance of proper hygiene and emphasizes how easily diseases can spread in modern world. Building can either help to prevent the spread of infectious disease or can facilitate its speed. Building certification program like GEM recognizes the importance of certain aspects and its important role in making building healthy, safe and secure. ASSOCHAM has taken green initiative to take care of Mother Earth and to complement India's sustainability movement in form of Council of Green and Eco-Friendly Movement called CGEM that executes the GEM Sustainability Certification Program with the objective to promote environmentally friendly green building design and its construction. Friends, the program includes sustainability, energy and water efficiency, fire and life safety, more green areas, indoor air quality, daylight, fresh air and human comfort, and it is completely based upon latest version of BE, ECBC 2017 and NBC 2016. We have excellent guide. I would urge all of you to really go through this guide. It is very user friendly, very simple. Our program is very transparent, very simple. It has GEM 1 to GEM 5 ratings available, and I'm sure this rating will undergo change, and I request our team to really look at it, learning from today's seminar and also various documents which are coming from ISHRE, ASHRE, IAQA, OSHO, REWA, and update the grading system so that adequate importance are given to infection also, which will be an important point further. The GEM currently addresses housing, urban development, residential, commercial, offices, school, colleges, and university. This is one of the most affordable program. This program is the only one which addresses the fire and life safety. We have linked it with Fire and Security Association's FSI index, which is a unique program, and therefore this makes GEM is a unique program of the world in green certification area. Our rates are extremely reasonable, and we believe that this program should reach extra mile, because we all know that 2001 the green building movement started in India, but only 6,000 plus buildings went for registration, and only less than 3,000 buildings are today certified buildings. Our objective is therefore to reach masses. We want to create this awareness. The good work being done by IGBC, USGBC, GREHA is further taken care by ASSOCHAM in a big spirit. The GEM sustainability building has a unique feature wherein we are monitoring all the certified buildings 24/7, and that too we want to achieve this at a very reasonable cost, less than 15,000. The certified building will be monitored, and this will become very, very important considering the current situation when remote monitoring is going to be a future for all projects and all engineering services. Friends, we are also having a certified professional program. For student, it is costing 4,000. Professional, it is costing 5,000. And I'm sure special considerations are happening today. Considering we are working from home, there are special discounts available. So please visit our website. I'm going to request Mr. Neeraj later to tell you about this cost. So we are continuously trying and training our professionals, our youngsters, and our rating system is gaining momentum. You can see here a very high quality buildings are getting certified from GEM, and I will urge all of you who are designing the systems, who are certified professionals, to come forward and help us promote this program. Friends, we are having our MOUs with ISHRE, FSAI, IAQA, GACS, Smart Habitat Foundation, ASHRE, and various other organizations. Once again, I would like to apprise you that ASSOCHAM is taking care of 400 chambers, more than 5 lakhs members, and it is working continuously. We have a vision in terms of quality and value addition, timeline, green at low cost, and quick response. We were very fortunate this year. This year happens to be our centenary celebration. Prime Minister himself was there with our earlier President, Mr. Goenka. Currently, our chair is Mr. Niranjan Hiranandani, who is well known in building engineering industry. He is extremely busy these days. I wanted him to be here with you, but he is working for us, for the MSMEs, with government continuously to enhance our quality in this testing time. Friend, as our Prime Minister said, let us please to create a green and environmental sustainable country. And in his words, friends, amidst the darkness caused by coronavirus, constantly pursue to reach towards the light. Thank you once again for your joining us. I can see extraordinary good attendance today, this morning. And thanks, Mr. Tushar Sogani ji, for taking forward this panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Dharkar Saab. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. Now I would request Architect Charanjit Shah Saab for his words. Architect Charanjit Shah sir is the senior advisor with our National Gem Council and is the founder director of Creative Group. He has done wonderful projects. One of them is Kartarpur Corridor. So he is with us. His blessings are with us. Now, Charanjit Shah Saab, over to you.
Thank you, Neeraj. Thank you very much. Thank you, Tushar. Thank you, Pankaj ji, and all my friends here on the panel. You know, Pankaj ji has given insight of GEM, but I would now look beyond GEM, the scenario which is there when I am locked down. But perhaps if we see that when I am locked down, I am the happiest person. As my friend Pankaj said, he has time to spend with the family. You know, incidentally, I am living in the farmhouse now in Gittorni. I'm spending all these days in the farmhouse. You know, when 70 years back, post-independence era, I look upon, when we were static, we were with the nature. We have less of ambition, less of aspiration, and less of everything, but we have more of fun. We have more of values. We have more of social bondage. And perhaps, you know, rat race, global technology, understanding going faster and faster. What I see is that we're missing something. Perhaps it is not that we need to dump some on the COVID-19. We need to understand why the COVID-19 is being superimposed on us. Why are we getting more distancing? Why we are becoming panicky from each other? Because we have created that sort of an environment for all of us together. So, no, this virus is visible, I would say, it's a visible killer. An invisible virus is a visible killer, and we see that death. We are scared, we are indoors. But perhaps we have to see, yes, we are doing a lot of green architecture. I appreciate we are involved in all those things put together. But today is a time, let's see that what exactly is green. Is green, which we're talking is green, or it is the red which is talking with. You know, now why I'm saying this is because when I see the air pollution, when I see the water pollution, when I see the sound pollution, they are indirect killers and they're killing the society. I am a passive smoker when I'm in Delhi. I take 45 cigarettes. You know, that is what is to be required. You know, my friend Pankaj ji has said about the indoor quality, but I'm more conscious about the global warming. We need to see how the outside, how their quality of air is improved, how to conserve my natural resources, how I really mitigate the system where the architecture of tomorrow is remain grounded IT architecture. It is not cosmetic architecture. It is not technology-bounded architecture. And that is perhaps, I think, we need to. One another point which is interesting to come to my mind is, my friend, from ASHRAE, they are here. My MEP consultants are here on the, they are also into the complete their viewers. Now we need to ask, we as an Indian, 135 crores of people, why should we imitate the globe? And we say, oh, for a hot and dry climate or hot and wet climate, we also need the same air conditioning systems. Why can't we create some sort of eco-friendly, innovative system which could be adopted? So, I mean, I'm just raising these questions that what is happening today, which sadly is with all of us. First, we create a red, we create glass tower, and then we start inserting, oh, I'm making it green, and then it becomes a platinum green or a gold green or a five-star gem green. So the question today is very alarming because what is happening is today this corona has come. It's like, I would say it's a modern flu. One day the flu came, and today again the infection. It is from now man to man, animal to man to man, and we are afraid now. So today, I think my questions are: can we really preserve the freshness of the clean sky which is today I see? I can see the stars today. I can see the birds, singing the song. We really create and retain that peaceful environment, which is practically forbidden because we are imprisoned and we cannot move. There are no vehicles on the road. There is no investment. But my PM is even below the normal. PM 2.5. I have the pressures of the pressure here. So the question comes, when it starts again moving, again I get the polluted environment. And I make it and add another building, and I say, so how much is the embodied energy which I'm consuming on all my so-called as efficient system, which is very today, okay, I say that, I'm consuming less because there are no offices. So we need to see how much we want to build. What is the scale like which we intend to build? So that is another question which we need to see. Now, because what is happening is I am not traveling. My 2 hours of going to my office, my 2 hours of coming back to my home is also not there. I am not carrying myself. I have sufficient time. So these are the parameters on which I think perhaps we need to see how the technology can play a role. Today we say, okay, we work from home. Is that the vital solution? I can be isolated. I can be at home. I will not move out, maybe for another 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, but I have to go to a restaurant. I have to go to a mall. I have to really do some sort of a community participation. So not that's another thing we need to address. So similarly, I need to say that we need to bring back the emotion, the sentiment, and the human scale, the 5 senses.
Charanjit sir, Charanjit sir, Charanjit sir,
Not cosmetic.
Charanjit ji,
Yes, sir.
I think your audio is not that clear. So may I request Anupam sir to
Okay.
speak for now, and can you check your audio meanwhile? Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Neeraj ji, can you able
So
to hear me?
yes, Tushar ji, yes.
Yeah, I am just audible.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, some short circuit happened at my place and my computer get crashed. Anyways, okay. Now I think let Mr. Anupam, architect Anupam, speak. So architect Anupam is a leading
Hello,
architect
Anil.
from. Yeah.
Hello, hello, can you hear me?
Hello, Charanjit sir.
Hello, can you hear? Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
your voice is coming. It's breaking. You know, your voice is breaking. Hello.
Hello, not audible.
I think
Neeraj, can you please
I
speak to me
think
separately? Let's continue the program with Mr. Anupam Mittal. And you can
yes,
speak to Mr.
Tusharji.
Charanjit sir
I
separately over
Yeah,
the phone, please.
yeah. I'll just introduce, since I'm not having his entire CV with me, but architect Anupam Mittal is a leading architect from Lucknow, and he has done pretty good amount of green buildings, you know, and he has got a branch office in Delhi also, and he's very much involved in international activities as far as architecture conferences and Acacia is concerned. Let me help welcoming architect Anupam Mittal, and I just want him to, you know, open the remarks on the topic.
Yeah, thank you, Tushar, and thank you, SHM and GEM for giving me this opportunity. I am in this forum for the first time, so but I'm fortunate that I know all of you, especially Charanjit Shah sir. I know him since long and I admire his work. So coming back to the topic, I have a little different approach towards the today's scenario. For the last 1 month, we are staying in our homes for a reason. So reason we say it's a COVID-19 restrictions and all. But I feel there's a fear, there's a factor of fear, which is of getting infected due to a virus, which has already infected more than 2.2 million people by now and taken lives of 154,000 people across the globe. But there's just a question like, do we really need to have a pandemic to occur to save the planet Earth, or as a citizen of this Earth we can really do something as an architect, as MEP consultants, as engineers, as the people around, as citizen? Do we really need to fear imposed on us so that the things can be better, or in an individual we can do anything? For example, while cutting a tree, we all are associated with the building industry. We should be having fear while proposing a cutting of tree, right? But if we have a fear that the oxygen level will go down because of cutting of trees by you, by somebody, then we'll definitely avoid it. At the same time, if there is necessity, we'll plant few more, right? We don't need a regulation for that. The fear is good enough to do that. When we waste few buckets of water, we should be fear of losing water, which is available now for the generation, and it may not be available for the future generations. Should we fear about the water availability on Earth? We should be fear of spitting around, which is getting infections across the cities. We should be fear of putting up garbage around the street, and definitely today a lot of people are homeless, a lot of people are not getting enough food for them, and today we have to understand the this saving of not only green features but the food also. The shortage of food, the food wastage by us is really alarming now, and we need to understand how each and every factor is going to work. I was just going through a figure, like Charanjit Shah recently said that we can see stars and we can see birds. Really, sir, your observation, especially sitting at the farmhouse, must be wonderful. The people who are even sitting in their row housing, they can even see the stars tonight, like any of the night these days. You can see birds sitting on your maybe parapet of your house. At the same time, if I just go to a figure of air quality index, now Delhi reached 513 air quality index in the recent time, and today dated 18th of April, it is 58. Mumbai, which usually have 158 air quality index, today it is 49. Jaipur, Tushar, your place, it is generally 173, 200 around. Today,
Right.
as of information made available to me, it is 101. Lucknow, where I'm sitting, it is generally more than 200. It reaches even to 300 also. Today it is 116. So if we would have doing enough, I don't think then that God needs to do a lot by forcing such a pandemic, or which is really not good for us. As far as Mr. Dharkar recently in the first opening remarks, he said the infection safe controlled ventilation environment we need to really design as an architect. So today we are washing hands, all of us, many times. Yeah, you're sanitizing our surroundings, our door handles and everything. We are washing fruits and vegetables maybe with salted water. I think everybody will agree. We are avoiding shake hands. We are keeping social distances. We are using Namaste as a core area to address each other. So are we going back to our roots? Yes, I think if we really go back to our roots and we understand our culture and our way of style in the past, we can work out the future. We can really redesign the surroundings to have a little bit better environment and better surroundings. So as Dharkar sir said, this healthy, safe and secure building we need to design. But what we need to design is the buildings which are healthy, which are creating health around, which are safe and secure. And I'm sure the change is due. Hope we, all of us, can become a catalyst to do the needful. And I'm looking forward for small little steps by ASSOCHAM, by other green building organizations to come together and really do something which can restart from today for a better future. Thank you, and over back to Tushar.
Yeah, thank you, Anupam. It was a very enlightening remarks by you. Now we have another eminent speaker, architect Surendra Baga. He also needs no introduction. Architect Surendra Baga has established architectural organization Sakar Foundations in Chandigarh in the year 1984. He has been the chairman of IIA Punjab chapter for 2 tenures, and he has co-authored 3 books, namely Modern Architecture in India, Post-Independence Perspective, New Indian Homes, and he's the present chairman of FSAIA Punjab and chapter chairman of ASSOCHAM GEM. Please help me welcoming Architect Surendra Baga. Please, your opening remarks, sir. Architect Baga. Baga sahab, your voice is not audible.
Can you please unmute yourself?
Hello. Hello.
Audible now.
Yes, audible now.
Yeah. Okay. Good morning to everyone. I was studying various documents and I found from various surveys the latest updates. Real estate is contributing about 8% to the national GDP, and it is one of the 4th largest sector, which is a major employment generator. About 5.4 crore people are employed in this sector. And I feel that with this large numbers and the importance of real estate sector is too much. And my opinion is that with this COVID-19, the whole scenario of construction sector has changed. I am of the opinion that the problem of migrant laborers have occurred because the country have no database. in future, all the building owners, all the architects, all the engineers involved should be documented in a proper manner. I feel that once the, maybe I estimate that about 20,000 projects are under construction in the country at the moment. And we do not know how many laborers are working there. And daily, yesterday you saw in Bombay that migrant laborers are facing so many problems, and some people have shifted there. Mr. Hirandani was telling that the construction industry will suffer hugely in another seminar 2 days earlier. It is happening only because we do not have any database about the materials consumed, about the personnel which are employed in this sector. So government should take initiative to document all the data. Secondly, my opinion is that with this development of COVID-19, building automation will grow further. Antibacterial fabrics in mattresses, in this sofas, upholsteries, curtains, I think they will come in the market now, because that will be demanded by our clients. And touchless technologies in the lifts are being talked about now. Touchless doors, touchless windows, remote controls will become more popular in a very near future. And as far as architects are concerned, I feel that clients will come to us demanding a isolation room in their house only. And each mohalla or a sector can have dispensaries or some health clinics where the isolation rooms can be provided. Because the current problem, in a current scenario, we do not have any infrastructure to tackle such a situation. Even in apartment blocks, I think in the basement or on the ground floor, some isolation rooms can be reserved for facing any future eventuality. And in addition to that, I think the concept of home office in all architects' offices, engineers' offices will become very popular. When this situation happened, I think we all got unawares, and we were facing great difficulty in managing our office from home. We do not have enough computers. We do not have enough study tables to work from. I think immediately after this lockup opens, I will be the first one to establish my own office in my house, because we suffered a lot. And I think we should also represent the Fire and Securities Association of India. We should also consider the possibility of disinfecting the buildings through fire sprinkler systems. If some medicine can be injected in that, and the sprinkler system is on, and the whole building gets disinfected. So these are some of the key points which I want to highlight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bhagat Saab. Now we have with us another leading architect from the country, architect Anand Tatu. And architect Anand Tatu is from Ahmedabad. He's an architect and planner since 1984. He's presently the chairman IIA Ahmedabad Center. He's chairman SOCHM GEM, and he was past president of GICEA. And he's doing fantastic job in Ahmedabad, doing a lot of green buildings. So let us hear from him what is his viewpoint on this subject. Architect Tatu.
Thank you, Tushar, for those generous words. If you check the title of today's webinar, it is about the role of green buildings in times of COVID and in future. So I think India is going to lead the world in many ways. One of them is in our culture, ancient culture, the concept of sustainability has been well imbibed. And in fact, before about a couple of, maybe 4 or 5 decades, we were following these principles of sustainability. But then the blind aping and competition led us to the mess which we are in today. I will try to talk about the relevance of sustainability and green philosophy, not only green building, in the times to come. Currently, we are passing through the survival stage or survival struggle. Soon we will be, hopefully, we will be entering the revival stage. And since, as I said, we already have these principles imbibed in our minds and our culture, it will be not very difficult for us to switch over to the change scenario. COVID-19 has shaken up the world. Mankind is struggling to fight the scary virus. But amidst this devastating onslaught, there is a ray of hope. There is a silver lining to this dark cloud. And I'm sure the world will survive through positive attitude, patience, and perseverance. Life has suddenly come to an halt from the maddening rat race, and all of us are confined to our homes for the first time in decades, as mentioned by the earlier speakers. And COVID-19 pandemic has provided us with a much needed time to retrospect and to introspect. It has acted as a great leveler. The vulnerability and the fragility of the so-called superpowers has been exposed, and the resilience of humanity is put to an acid test. Being an optimist, I very strongly feel that this shall also pass. But the pandemic will act as an eye-opener and game changer. It will be imperative to drastically change the way we think, the way we live, the way we work, the way we commute, the way we pray, the way we plan, the way we construct, and the way we maintain or conserve our resources. The way we think, for example, maintaining a positive mind frame and develop patience and inculcate discipline. The way we live, I think we'll have to switch over to a healthier and more hygienic lifestyle. The way we work, we will have to, as said by Surinder ji and other people, we will have to switch over to innovative technologies, work from home, etc. The way we commute, there has been a lot of promotion of mass transportation, but we will have to revisit those policies. The way we commute will change. We might have to switch over to bicycles and e-cycles, e-bikes, etc. Similarly, we will have to redefine certain norms and redefine certain concepts. We will have to redefine efficiency. For example, we've been talking more about densification of cities and having more FSI and stuff like that. So such policies will have to be reviewed and revisited and changed. We will have to redefine our personal comfort as well. As in our traditional houses, we used to have courtyards and verandas and spaces which were, the indoor air quality was much better without mechanical air conditioning and things like that. So maybe we will have to relook at these things. And we will also have to redefine affordability. People say that affordable housing would be different, less luxurious, etc. But I feel that the cost of a house Mainly the major component is the land component. The cost of land is a major component, which will have to change. The government will have to change its policy to make land available for housing. Now, since this is a forum of planners, designers, consultants, let me bring the discussion to relevant topics. After the lockdown for a couple of quarters, all the activities will be quite slow for obvious reasons. But after that, things will recover and there would be an increase in activities across various sectors. Every human being has realized the importance of home, and there will be a spike in demand of housing sector across all these segments, be it affordable or luxury. The person living in a 1 BHK will, wish to move to a larger space. If we have to stay more frequently, this kind of due to this kind of pandemics, which are slated to be or likely to be more frequent. So everyone would like larger spaces and better houses for themselves. We all know that the migrant labor has been a major issue, which is in effect, the labor force is the backbone of our economy. So if the government can change its priorities and allocate more funds for development of this housing for migrant workers or poor people, this can offer a great incentive or attraction to the migrant labor who have gone back to their natives. Only the job is no longer going to attract them. So this would be, killing two birds with one stone. One, you will attract them back to work to the industries, various industries, including construction. And second would be providing them decent housing. See, mainly the problem of these migrant workers who live in shanties and slums, and everyone has seen that the spread of the COVID-19 has been more through such densely populated haphazard pockets of housing. So we should focus more on provision of better housing. So the demand for housing is very well established by now, and the government will have to reshuffle its priorities, allocate more funds, and organizations like ASSOCHAM, GEM, and other green building organizations can come in at this stage, and we can introduce the norms of sustainability and green buildings through this ECBC code, which 14 of our states have already notified and rest are doing so. So this could be a prerequisite, compliance to ECBC may be prerequisite for getting the funds for your housing. And this is a great opportunity for people working towards this sustainability to really play a very important role and ensure that all the new development follows this. Even the existing stock of housing can be retrofitted to follow the norms of sustainability. Apart from this, we shall have to revisit policies for urban development. Of late, there has been a lot of emphasis on densification of cities and use of mass transportation. All this will have to change, which result into crowding. So we have to identify the crowd generating activities. Mostly they come from religious and social events, political rallies, movie halls, malls, etc. There's crowding, which is not safe for times in pandemics like this. So we have to then change our approach, and we will have to switch over to maybe our traditional bazaars, for example. We can also, instead of malls, we can also go for e-darshans, difficult to accept by the masses, but that will be the way of life, I suppose. Then we will have to even the movie halls will be replaced by amphitheaters and probably open air theaters, etc. And then the life will change. I think everyone has now realized the price which we have paid and we will be paying till the end of this pandemic. I think people will definitely accept the new way of life. We will have to, as professionals, we will have to change our approach, be more flexible, be more responsive, be more responsible, and change our ways to approach our projects if we really want to remain relevant. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Architect Anand. I think it was you shown the very positive side of this virus, actually, which I think we should all come out of depression, and we should think this entire time frame, in a very positive mindset. Right. Thank you for enlightening us. Architect Charanjit, I think if you can complete your this thing, if your voice is audible now, so I'll give you 5 minutes if you can complete your this thing. Architect Shah.
I just thank you, Anand and Anupam Mittal for taking that sort of innovation for the real. I call it as Vastu Shastra, which is called Indian architecture or sustainable architecture. And perhaps we missed out ourselves for we became global and we started to imitate the global world and forgot our basic structures of our,
Architect Shah, I think still your voice is not audible. Your voice is breaking. Am I right?
Okay.
I think. Hello.
So,
Yes, his voice is not working fine here.
Yeah.
okay. You can carry on with
I think I can even check at a later stage. Now, friends, I think it was a very interesting opening remarks by all of us. The gist of all your remarks is that we should take this COVID-19 virus in a very positive mindset. We, as a professional, should come out with a different mind frame. And I think all of you your speeches has been very enlightening. Now, let us start with some question answers, out of your opening remarks. I think we'll first start with Mr. Pankaj Dharkar. Sir, since you are now in this MEP, so we have seen a viral message going in the social media that coronavirus can spread through air conditioners. What do you think, sir? And what is your advice? I think it's a very crucial question to all of us as a layman.
Thank you very much. I think it is a very good question. This was the day we saw this in the media emerging out. Ishay, under the current leadership, has done a wonderful task by creating a task force under technical committee and come out with a COVID document. You must have seen in my presentation, I tried to cover it briefly. And world over, we have societies like International Association of Indoor Air Qualities, IAQA, ASHO, RIWA. Everybody is concerned about this factor. And I think whole problem is a lot of indicators are there that coronavirus will start losing its intensity of spreading beyond 27 degrees. Nothing has proved because it unfortunately started from cold climate in Wuhan, and it continues to affect more towards the cold climate. If I see myself the way Singapore is getting credit or other countries along the main axis is getting credit, is you are seeing a distinct difference where the hot and humid climate exists. Though the research do not prove this, but certainly the indicators are reflecting that higher temperatures and humidity levels, control humidity levels can really help us. Friends, we are as a society, ISHRE has come up with document where we are saying that please set your temperatures beyond 27. Tomorrow, you are from Jaipur, sir. Your temperatures in Jaipur as we enter summer
Yes.
are going to be 40, 45 in that range.
Yes.
Already in Ahmedabad, where I live, 40 is already crossed. And
Yes.
therefore, running air conditioning, the way we have changed our lifestyle, is going to be required. Certainly, ISHRE is recommending that you set your temperatures beyond 27 degree and also control humidity between 40 to 60%, which is the best humidity range in which the lesser infections are likely to happen. We are not saying it is going to eliminate, but this is what we are recommending till the researches get proved. A lot of work is happening on ISHRE front. Our ISHRE is working on this, but we strongly believe that running air conditioning is not an issue. A well-designed air conditioning system in large buildings are already having number of zones. If you see any hotel building, hospital building, always air distribution systems are having multiple zones. So we have not to worry about it more. Of course, as time goes, and as I said earlier, the infection control for HVAC designer will also make important role. When we design a HVAC system, probably interface zoning, air transmission was never given importance other than pharmaceutical and hospital projects, where all consultants and all architects are very careful in containing the zones. But I think this will infiltrate to building designs and office complexes also. And that is what point I was trying to say. But nevertheless, if given the limitations of current scenarios, we strongly believe that a range of 27 and above will not only give you energy saving. In fact, the ECBC has come up with a mission, and we and ISHRE Ahmedabad chapter came up with a complete theme this year, where we always are promoting that 1 degree can save you 3% energy. So if you are maintaining your air conditioning at 22 degree, and if you start doing it beyond 27 degree, you will do not only saving in your electricity bill, which is going to be very important for coming days. All of us, whatever status he could be, somebody would have one room AC, somebody would have his entire house AC, but these bills have to be controlled. So if you set your temperature from 22 to 27, and believe me, the body gets used to it. In my childhood or your childhood, we have not gone in air conditioned car, right? Anybody
Yes.
can on this panel, and many of us who are attending here, we have not seen air conditioned car in my childhood, but my children have always lived there. So it is a lifestyle which people accept. And I'm sure this 5-7 degree will make huge difference to your own energy bills, but also do good to the nation, because nation is also going to have a lot of limitation on producing this energy as the time flows. So it will be a great service to yourself and to the nation if you start putting 27 degree above. And this is something which I will again urge, that ISHRE COVID document is very accessibly downloadable from the web. Just download it. There are several other points which we have covered, the team has covered, and including on other utilities, the IP has come up with very good document. FSA has also come up with very good document. So apart from temperature, there are a lot of help you will get, sir. So thank you very much for that question. I think it is very, very important for people to know that it is safe, but try and set a larger temperature. That will be great help.
I think you solved our query of that viral message going on in this world, and plus I think it's a kind of a blessing in disguise. I was just thinking that how much energy we're going to save onto it. So if we are onto 21.7 degree temperature, we are definitely, as you said, going to save a lot of energy. Well taken.
21%, sir.
21%. That's really, I think it's going to substantially, decrease energy consumption in the building, which we have almost we are crossing more than 40%, So I think air conditioning are the major gadgets which consume energy in a building. That makes sense. I think it's really blessing in disguise. Thank you,
Absolutely.
sir. Now, Mr. Charanjit Shah, you are a stalwart, we have been seeing you since in the late 1990s. You have been designing green buildings. When you did that Chennai airport, I still remember I was a student that time, So I used to admire that green airport that time. So, sir, my question to you is this: when facing COVID-19, does a green building provide a basic guarantee and convenient conditions for the prevention and the control, which is beneficial to the victory against this COVID-19? Or can it also help to stabilize the work and the living environment during this epidemic?
Yeah, thank you, Tushar. I think I am audible now.
Yes, yes, better, sir.
Yeah. Okay. First I'll just say a few things about the sustainability. Because I will just continue my dialogue on. Like Mr. Anupam and Mr. Taku have said, perhaps we need to look. Today, it's not like I'm talking about short term on COVID-19, what is to be done, how are we distancing, other things. Maybe, these are some of the temporary phase. Some of the doctors I was listening, they were saying that by the time we will be definitely plus 45 degree temperature, and with May, June, the virus perhaps would not stay, and it will be a natural death of the virus itself. But there are certain things yet to be seen, that yet to be experimented, yet to be understood, because all of us are absolutely new to this. This is a new virus, or it's a new flu-like, and it's like putting yourself into the chest. But what is happening is, I'm just trying to see that in case I start putting life into my field, you know, let me see that whatever I am creating, whatever human settlement, with all the human settlements were created earlier, they were not only a mass of brick and concrete, but as a living organism, which breathes and is embodied with nature. And similarly, the material, with so many things which are annoying. So I think this is the forum from where Mr. Pankaj can really have an interface with the industry and the technocrat. And we start making made in India and make in India, our sustainable material, than to get hold of something from abroad or somewhere, or and which can also boost up the industry. This is an opportunity to be interactive in terms of, I would say, even air conditioning the new mechanism, where we talk about only, you say about 26 degrees temperature, which is comfortable to me. And how do I create even 26 with, with not with this air conditioning system, but with some alternative way where I consume less energy. When I consume less energy, then I become sustainable and becomes livable. So this is one of the questions. And other is that how to really see that how the larger infrastructure works, where larger infrastructure together, where they are actually meant for people to roam around, sit together, and chat. And this disease calls for absolutely different requirement, and that is that we want distancing. We want, that my breath should not go into your breath, and other things should not happen. So it's entirely, which is absolutely inhuman. And it's like, no, something that I am talking about designing something is robotic, and my things, I need to be with some sort of a total, like a doctor who is now looking at the patient, and he's also not safe. This is perhaps, I think that the solution is not so simple to be solved and to be analyzed in a very different manner. But one thing but sure is that in case I've been listening to a doctor, in case we create a shift into my lifestyle, it's lifestyle, it's like eating style, it's food, shelter, and clothing, all put together. And one side, today everybody says, oh, be vegetarian. Everybody says only take fruit and vegetables. It will give you a better immune system. And similarly, my shelter. If I have absolutely natural shelter, similarly, perhaps, we were talking, when we talk about skyscrapers, we talk about high-rise residential apartment. But in case we become a little more conscious and to understand how a cluster plan, it's like low-rise, high-density was there. People were very comfortable. So these are some of the facts which are to be analyzed by principally into the passivity of our design. And I would rather say that we will have to create that sort of an architecture which respects solar, which respects air, which respects wind, and which respects water. So all these things, elements, will be put in absolutely in the holistic manner into our physics planning, and then talk about the five senses. And in case I'm able to create that sort of architecture, that will absolutely remain, and that is what is required. And this is the time when not as a short-term goal, but it's an alarm to us that maybe that we're creating so much of infrastructure, and that is what the societal point is all about. So we need to see that how to limit ourselves, how to limit our use of natural resources. So that is maybe it is in a services manner, maybe it is an architectural manner, maybe it's manner. It can be in a very holistic manner that put all things put together in a human scale so that I identify everything in a very natural way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I think it was a very enlightening for us. Now, over to architect Surinder Baga. I cannot see the video of Mr. Baga. I think there's some problem.
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Baga, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. So my question to you is this, that how can our living environments, be better prepared for the next lockdown? Hopefully not, we don't want that. But if it's need to be extended, how adaptive we have to be in terms of our living environment in Indian context, especially?
I think over the years, after 90s, we have drifted apart from nature, and we have started making buildings which are glass clad, aluminum clad, and energy guzzlers. So the point is that we should switch over to the sustainable architecture, the natural materials, the local materials, and we should be as close to nature as we can. We should. So my view is that all these glossy materials, the studies have indicated that this virus sticks on glass, it sticks on steel, but there are indications that it does not stick on rough materials, it does not stick on natural materials. There are indications like this. So somewhere down the line, I feel that we should adopt the path of sustainable architecture, which we are preaching from a long time. The whole problem is caused by shifting away from the nature. Thank you very much.
I think very correctly said, Mr. Baga. We should follow our legacy, very strongly. Like I'll just give you an instance of Jaipur. What has happened in Jaipur when it was planned in the year 1726? It was a very holistic approach, and still those principles are, prevailing, and they are adding to the green environment overall. Thank you very much. Mr. Tatu, you have been in a lot of green buildings, So what do you think that how will a green building respond to a world where pandemics will be part of our lives more frequently? Because, we never know now what can happen. So how strong are these green building, how do they respond to the world?
First of all, let me say that what you said doesn't happen. The pandemics are not so frequent because we should all take care that this doesn't repeat itself very frequently. Now, having said that, green buildings generally are more in tune with nature and natural environment. And so obviously, when you have the indoor air quality as discussed by the speakers, especially Mr. Dakar, and he has consoled us that the air conditioners are not that dangerous. But still, if we follow the traditional way of passive cooling in buildings, such as having cross ventilation, insulated roofs, we have greenery all around, there are water bodies, there are courtyards and verandas. Such buildings will definitely be more resilient towards surviving the pandemics. And the people inside, people who they are more conducive for the inhabitants, and they will be definitely better equipped. Suppose if the building is absolutely ventilated mechanically or artificially, but if the power goes off, like what happened at your place today, Tusharji.
Yeah.
So what happens? And you are in the midst of lockdown situation. So I think if we all become wiser and subscribe to this sustainable philosophy, and as I said earlier in my opening remarks, that we have a tradition of doing that. So I think we should, with maybe, of course, they will have to be modified to some extent. Very good point Mr. Dharkar mentioned is about making the buildings infection safe. I think that is a wonderful concept which needs to be elaborated. So I think obviously the green buildings will definitely respond in a much better manner if at all such pandemics reoccur. Thank you.
I think that's a very point. This pandemic has given a lot of lessons which we need to learn. And I think, as earlier said by Mr. Charanjit Shah also, that changing of lifestyle, can create miracles to this Mother Earth. So now the next question is to Architect Anupam Mittal.
Yeah.
Architect Anupam, how do we explore the role of regeneration in creative, positive energy districts and recreating healthy walkable neighborhoods after this breakout? And how do we constitute our architecture post-endemic, which is very important?
Yeah, Tushar, not only neighborhood, I think we need to work out we have to rework on the outdoor indoor spaces again.
Yes.
I think if we work out the open spaces all around yourself, your buildings, your places, even the urban development projects, urban design projects, we need to work out on the placement of innovative solid waste management system in public places. It's very important as of today. We see in exhibitions that many innovative technologies are being introduced, but they are not being placed or utilized properly. Just we go and dump the solid waste around the street. So we need to ensure to place the solid waste management in an innovative way and use the latest technology. I think we have to means like as consultants we can ask or we can suggest government to introduce sanitized booth kiosk on designated places rather than allowing mushrooming of vendors all around the street, because the unorganized sector is creating a lot of problem on the streets. If we can if the urban design things can be redefined, reworked to have a proper placement of booths and kiosks, that may be a little better situation for the neighborhood. I think introduction of dry toilets or the technology driven public toilets for a better hygiene, like the way see, this is a natural call for each and every person who is roaming around in the street. So if we can really place proper public toilet in such a people should stop using just drains or the open places to urinate or any other thing. In fact, even redesigning public places is more in a more effective way, making it more sustainable through innovative ideas can do better. Our responsibility are there. Can't just ignore it. Jatushar.
Yeah. Very rightly said, Anupam. I think this entire session has been very inspiring for all of us. We got to learn from each other, and now I'll have a kind of a one-liner question from all of you. A lesson from this pandemic. Just a one-liner answer. Lesson from this pandemic. Mr. Pankaj Dharkar.
Change of lifestyle, sir, is the learning.
Very rightly said. Change of lifestyle. Everyone has started changing their lifestyle. I was wearing just 3 t-shirts in last 21 days. My clothes couldn't go to the washing machine. I saved a lot of energy. It's a lesson. Architect Charanjit Shah, one-liner answer to
I say,
lesson from.
love for your family and love nature.
That's
what,
right. I think very well said. We were so detached because of this materialistic word from our family. So I think it was a close knit with the family. Mr. Surinder Baga, one word, one-liner answer. Lesson from this pandemic.
Sustainable architecture is the only way out.
Oh my God, that's a good answer. So we have to stick to sustainability. So that's a message. And so our responsibility has become more challenging if this is the answer. Mr. Tatu, one-liner answer, a lesson from this pandemic.
I think we should be less aggressive and more considerate towards not only others, humans, but also towards the environment, and try to be in tune with the environment, not harm it. And I think sustainable architecture is the only way. It is not a choice. It is the only way to go about it.
So another lesson is be less aggressive. Means be humble to the society, to the nature, to your loved ones. Am I right, Mr. Tatu? I think it's a good lesson.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mr. Anupam Mittal, one-liner answer to this question. Lesson from this pandemic.
Very strange thing. The first address to my staff on the first day of the year 2020, I talked for 2 hours on just one line. That was health and happiness.
Ah, that's great. Health and happiness.
Yeah.
And
So,
great. So I think all of us have a different kind of a lesson, and which are very much necessary to which has come out of this pandemic, and now the responsibility lies on us. I would say that a reset button has been set by this pandemic. So it's kind of a resetting the factory setting, which comes in a device that you have to reset. All the things are reset. So everything, according to me, is going to zero down, and we should take this in a very positive note. All of us should have these lessons very clearly into deep of our hearts, and try to follow this lifestyles, which we have been following for last 23, 24 days. I think the world is going to change. World is going to change. If we can see, dolphins in marine lines, we can see Himalayas from Jalandhar. Bagaji, am I right? Was it really?
Yes.
You could have seen that. We can see, as Anupam Bhai says, we can see stars, So I think.
On a lighter note, Tushar, can I come in?
Yes, please tell me.
We can also see the Statue of Liberty from the Statue of Unity.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's really good. So I think we should take this pandemic kind of a blessing in disguise. It's a blessing in disguise. This should not happen anymore. There should not be, I again correct myself, there should not be frequently such pandemics in this world. But this pandemic has given a lot of good lessons to this mankind, and it's kind of an alarm being raised to us by Almighty God, that please try to save this earth in the same fashion I have given you two human beings. Try to reset the things. Try to follow the things which I have created. I think Brahmaji must have created this world with a perfect vision. he said, no, don't adulterate this word. Be very kind to this nature. And this is what I think it's a lesson for all of us. So now, after this, I think with again, as I said in the starting, that for this entire fight against this COVID-19, we should thank our all governments, our central government, our state governments, our bureaucrats, our doctors, our nurses, our policemen, and I think we will be in a very strong, part that we are going to fight against this COVID-19, and all of us are damn sure that we are going to fight it very soon, and our nation will once again rise, and we will at the fullest of the economy. So with these few words, I think it was a very nice session.
Tusharji,
from all the
Tusharji?
Yes, I am coming to you, Neeraj. So I think with this, all the panelists have been fantastically, delivered their speeches. Though I missed something because of the power cut, and I couldn't have the privilege to see all your faces. But thank you very much to be a part of this STEAM panel. Thanks a lot. Now, I would Neeraj has got certain announcement, so over to Neeraj. Thank you.
Yeah, Tusharji, thank you so much. I really appreciate your energy that you started with the video, and because of some technical glitches, your video was not there. Then you handled the whole webinar very well through audio only. So I must appreciate your energy. At the end, Dharkar Saab would like to sum up the things, I think. Dharkar Saab, over to you.
Thank you. I think, Tushar, we were very unfortunate, and I'm requesting Neeraj to once again, during this period, arrange some special webinar for Tusharji. His presentations are always very, very exciting, very inspiring, and we lost it somewhere. This is what I think is a learning curve for technology. Inputs came to me during my our webinar about the audio system of Mr. Charanjit Singh. That was also a loss, but I think we will make it up. Sure, Neeraj, you will do that. I just wanted to make one announcement. I'm chairing one task force given by FSAI. We call it FSAI COVID Task Force. And yesterday, GACS, who are also our supporter of ASSOCHAM, we have MOU with them. The people who are managing, there are 4,000 plus members, and they are managing thousands of properties of the country. Now, this is for the first time in history, at least I have not experienced, and nobody has experienced in the world, when the current working projects will be stopped, means the construction projects are getting stalled, and also the buildings which were operational are getting stopped, and we will be starting. Some building will start post 45 days, some building will start post 60 days or even 75 days. So I think as engineering societies, we have a responsibility to guide people, the facility managers, and also the country as to how to restart these facilities and the projects, and what are those engineering precautions we should take. There are large, mind you, there are large air conditioning systems which has huge amount of loads in terms of water services, in terms of fire services, in terms of air conditioning system. So we started that initiative. Between last 16 hours, I was able to connect to IPA, the Indian Plumbing Association, the ISHRE presidents, current and past presidents. And I'm very glad that all societies are coming together. And in next 72 hours, we are going to come up with a white paper as a guide to people, because lockdown is going to get open from, say, Monday onwards, it will pick up. And maybe another 20-21 days, a lot of it will start. But we want to come up with a unique document in India where all societies put together are putting for this document. And I will urge anybody has any input, please give it to us on covid@fsai.in, and we will try to incorporate best of it, but it will not be more than 3 pages. Nice bullet points which explains what all precautions to be taken, and this will be of course given to the government of India. I would like ASSOCHAM to also lead this. I am requesting all engineering societies of the country to come forward and contribute to this document. This will be a common document from all engineering societies. So thank you, Neeraj, for giving me that time. And once again, my personal thanks to Tusharji and all the panelists, Anupamji, Charanjit Singh ji, Anand ji, and of course Bagaji for this wonderful panel discussions, and also to all audiences. I think we had 1,000 plus registrations and good attendees at all the time. So thank you all of you to take out 90 minutes. I know that when we started, we were not knowing what to do for complete date, but today many of us are busier than ever. They are busier for 16 hours. So pairing this 1.5 hours with us, with ASSOCHAM James team. And once again, I'm also requesting Neeraj on your behalf that this is a time when you can give online exams to all those young students who are there and professionals. We have a special discount. Can you arrange, announce that discount for people who can do these exams?
Yes, so we have offered 25% discount on GEM certified professional online fees. Otherwise, the fees is 5,000 rupees. Now, till the lockdown ends up to 3rd May, the fees is 4,000 rupees plus taxes for all. This is all, whether it is a professional, student, or faculty. So take the benefit most out of it, yeah, and register for it. Thank you so
Last
much.
announcement, Neeraj, I need to make. Dharkar sir, with your permission, Rajasthan chapter has come out with a very, small program. I think you must have, we have shared with you. It's an essay competition, It's an essay competition, and it's open to all architects, MEP guys, all professionals, related professional. And the topic, you have to write an essay on impact on energy consumption in buildings during lockdown, so that we can learn lessons from this essay. We will have 3-4 best essays shortlisted by the jury, and then we'll felicitate him. So I think every one of you should participate into this and write an essay of 500 words.
Tushar, you have a habit of coming up with innovative programs, and thank you very much for keeping us busy and the engineers and architects busier. Thank you so much, Tushar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you.